From Vile Bodies by Evelyn Waugh. All this fuss about sleeping together. For physical pleasure, I'd sooner go to my dentist any day.
Welcome back to the Reading Room Ruffians, your favorite library podcast. We discuss books we've read, tell you about our upcoming programs, and throw a few guest speakers in for some flavor. This is Mallory, and I am on a boat, basically. I'm joining my county fair-loving BFF Ariel.
Yeah!
And our supreme overlord Carla.
Never again. Never again.
Who are recording from our library in Jackson County, West Virginia. As usual, Zach, the permanent eye roll, is joining us from Seattle, Washington.
Hello, everyone. I know none of this stuff is real. It's okay. I understand.
Today we're tuning into Carla's nonfiction pick, 100 Bigfoot Nights by Christine D. Parker. And I'm kind of scared. Okay, I'm kind of scared to see where this takes us. Wow.
At least we finally have a book where we can pronounce the authors.
That's true. That is true.
It's like,
That's something.
anyway, I expected something different. Maybe it seems very surreal. The encounter she talked about. Go ahead.
Based on the name, I was convinced that she was going to be like out in the woods, like hunting down and having some sort of love affair with Bigfoot. That's what I expected.
That's what it kind of sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. I was sorely disappointed.
Honestly, for me, it sounded very menacing. I was like thinking like Bigfoot, but Blair Witch Trials.
No, I was seriously the title. I'm with Zach. The title sounds like that. And it makes me think of like when people go out hunting for Bigfoot and they're using the mating call. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? If he comes running at you full tilt because he's like, "Hey there, girl."
How you doing?
How do they even know it's amazing?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Anyway, this book started on October 13th of 2012. Both of the people in it, the husband and wife, were retired, and they had moved out into like a suburb type area and just was going to, enjoy their retirement. And right beside their house, and right across the road, was a forest, and it bordered on like a larger forest and abandoned mines and stuff like that, which I'm thinking, oh, this is all the Bigfoot stuff they talk about on podcasts and in other books. And I was like, oh, this will be good. It wasn't quite what I expected. It started out, they had lived there for, I believe it was 7 years. And her husband had put up Halloween decorations. And while he was putting up the Halloween decorations, and according to her, they went like way overboard. There was all kinds of stuff everywhere, but the picture doesn't look quite like that.
Oh, did they have a picture of that one?
I
didn't see the decoration.
Yeah, it was like, I'll show.
I gotta see. This is their overboard.
Yeah, it's
Let
like.
me tell you.
Anyway,
There's like 4 things.
yeah.
But 3 too many.
There's a skeleton involved. But anyway, so while they were out there finishing up, the husband was, they heard a really strange howl that they had never heard before, and it kind of spooked them. So they went in, they didn't hear it, they just heard it that one time. And they went in, and the next morning they were online looking for animals that made sounds like that so they could figure out what was in the woods. Well, the only thing they found that matched was one that said, listen to this mournful howl. And it matched a Bigfoot sighting, a recording from Ohio from 1994. And I actually have that queued up if you guys want to try to listen to it. Can we try it?
Okay, you know what that almost sounds like to me this time?
What?
The first time I heard it, I thought maybe mountain lion, because I've heard mountain lions make noises similar.
Mm-hmm.
That time, to me, it sounded like a tornado siren.
It did have
That's
kind
exactly
of
what I thought when I heard it.
A whale thing to it, but I don't think
It sounds like a tornado. I don't think that
like,
they have tornado sirens in
Ohio.
Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because I
it has
lived.
that like
Yeah, I lived in Missouri where tornadoes are prominent, and that's exactly what a tornado siren sounds like.
But
it does sound like a siren of some description.
And this was not what they heard, because this was a recording from a different time, but it was the closest thing that matched. So they were pretty sure that they had a Bigfoot in the woods. And she was not happy about it, and she was... She was like...
because this lady is absolutely terrified of Bigfoot.
And she has been her whole life, so I could kind of identify with that. Yeah, I was like, but I don't think I'd have been this crazy. Maybe, but I don't think so.
No, she's kooky.
She literally becomes obsessed with Bigfoot. And her husband and her older boys, none of them were afraid. Now, her youngest one was a little nervous about the thought, but her kids are all grown. The husband and the two older boys were just so blasé about it. It's like, oh, well, we got a Bigfoot, no big deal, you know. And I'm thinking, okay. So
I mean, what do you gotta do about it?
I don't know, but it's like they contacted
No, it's just the fact that they were like, I think that according to her, they believed her and still didn't make a big deal about this.
No.
Like, I don't think that Bigfoot is real, but if I thought it was, and I thought there was one at my house, I'd be freaking out. I'd be doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, no, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
it's like, what?
It's never bothered us. It'll be okay.
I mean, that's kind of my mentality of it.
But you would want to see it or something.
Well, I'd put up cameras. I'd be like, okay, I gotta record.
But they were just like, you know, whatever. I'm going to go watch TV, or I'm going to go to bed and sleep with the dogs. You know, I mean, it's seriously, their dogs slept with them.
Yeah.
And they did.
They had 4 dogs, apparently.
But
dogs didn't react?
Yeah, the dogs did react.
Okay.
The dogs did react. Especially Foxy, the older one.
Okay.
But anyway, they call a Bigfoot investigator, Mr. Hill, and he comes out and he tries to investigate a little bit, but I was not real impressed with him either.
No, he's just like said a bunch of stuff that, well, first of all, he was like, just, oh yeah, no, Bigfoots, they're just around. I investigate them all the time, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't seem to, like, you know,
really
it
investigate.
sounded like he just made stuff up.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, too. And he didn't really investigate.
Now, they said that they did mention the fact that possibly the reason there was a Bigfoot there was because people were feeding, like, wildlife. And it was an easy meal. And her older, or I guess maybe her middle son, I think the oldest was William, but the middle son, Jack, he was all into feeding wildlife. And even at one point when they see, like on the night vision camera, that there's a Bigfoot there, he runs and gets a steak and a hamburger and runs it out into the woods.
Oh, the Bigfoot.
It's like the beef jerky
it's
commercial.
Absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing is like, now I believe she was really afraid, and I believe she was really seeing something. But the whole reaction to this family was just like,
it didn't make any sense to me.
I mean, they put up.
Also, let's just pause for a second. This dude claims that it's people leaving food out in the woods for animals, which apparently the kids do.
Yeah.
However, apparently this is like a thing in their neighborhood that everybody just leaves food out in the woods for animals.
I guess
Have you ever heard of this nonsense?
No.
Who does that?
So bad,
I mean, people
though.
scraps out into the woods all the time.
But these people are like, they would just put stuff out. To, you know,
all the time. Yeah.
Raccoons and
I mean,
possums.
Like, oh yeah,
I don't know how many
and stuff.
videos I watch where people like feed the raccoons, and there's like an army of raccoons.
I don't understand why people feed raccoons. Those mofos they'll come no matter what.
They're cute.
That one guy that has all kinds of them on his porch. That guy's my favorite.
With the hot dogs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a crazy man. He's about as crazy as these people are.
It's very strange, though.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, the one kid running out there after they see a Bigfoot to give him steak. My mind was absolutely blown.
That's a different level.
Yeah, and she was like freaking out, but it was just the whole thing was just, it was really strange reactions to this whole.
You know what?
phenomenon.
You say this is weird. Do you remember when we were children and there was a UFO and you made us all go outside to go see it? And I was like, no.
It was just, clothes.
Doesn't matter. Don't matter. Same vibe there. Same vibe.
I wasn't feeding them. I wasn't inviting them.
Calling you out.
Look there.
Yeah, she was like, look there and then feed him steak.
No, I didn't feed him. I didn't steak it.
No, just drag your children out and be like, look at this. Bro, you know they ate children. You could have been feeding them.
No, I'm good. It was also weird how she described something about when they were on all fours, how they sloped back and had like a hyena type appearance. And when she first described that, I thought, oh, she is not seeing Bigfoot. There's another cryptid out there that people describe that. Anyway, but that comes up later. But the whole time she's thinking it's Bigfoot, and there's different kinds of them. She's literally seen multiple entities, whatever they are, in the woods. I mean, from all different ages, different sizes, that type of stuff. But there is a definite difference between some of the stuff she's seen, like the ones with the slope back and the animal-like faces, to the larger, actual Bigfoot type things.
Slope back animal faces does not sound like Bigfoot. That sounds like other things I don't talk about.
Yeah.
No.
You don't talk about it.
The investigator was trying to tell her that there were two different types of Bigfoots, right? You have like the ones with the more human faces, the one with more animalistic faces, and the ones with more animalistic faces are more aggressive, according to him.
Also known as Dogman.
Oh, no. He was thinking it was a different thing aside from Dogmen until the end, and then he's like, oh no, those are Dogmen.
They're dangerous. He was not a good investigator. He was not. And
He was not, no.
He was not. I was not impressed with his... and the fact that they put in all those cameras, they put in night vision cameras, they recorded all the sounds they heard, because she could literally sit in the den at night and listen to the audio recordings and know when they came in. She could hear them come into but it's like, I never understood with all the technology. I mean, 2012 was not that long ago.
No.
Why they didn't have better recordings and better cameras and better stuff.
Does she have
they're acting like they didn't have any money for the stuff, and they must have. I still understand.
I think so too. I think
they didn't even set up a trail cam except for one time.
I know,
right? Once, and it caught pictures of raccoons.
Recordings or anything?
Not that I saw.
Yeah, the recordings are in the book.
Well, yeah, but you
they're
can't
not
hear
convincing.
them.
Yeah, you can hear them. Here. Like I'm sending you the website that has all this stuff.
I actually read the book. Just read the paper copy of the book.
No, I get you. I listen. So all of the recordings and stuff are here.
Okay. But
on 100bigfootnights.com if anybody wants to take a look. It's got pictures there, it's got the recordings there, and it's got some other videos that are some missed and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to see if she had any screenshots or steals or whatever from the videos of things that she saw.
She's only got one set of screenshots maybe from the videos, and it's like a blob. It's blob squatch, It's not great.
Yeah, I think my first clue to where she was probably not seeing everything she said she was seeing was when she talked about the night vision camera and seeing the specter-like stuff where she's just seeing stuff.
Yeah, the night vision stuff, it's like basically they've set up a camera, which is IR, right? And it's got a big flashlight type thing, IR flashlight, that illuminates whatever spot. She was trying to hide it. But every time she turned it on and pointed at the woods, she was claims she kept seeing specters and hundreds of eyes or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe hundreds, but there's tons of eyes and stuff. It's just these can't all be Bigfoots. And she was terrified of all the stuff she was seeing. And I'm I've seen a night vision thing, and yes, it makes stuff look weird, but
not like that.
There's something wrong with this lady. She's got some massive. Okay, so pareidolia is this thing.
Yeah, I know.
Where you make faces and stuff out of things, right?
Yeah.
It's why you can see clouds that look like people, or
rabbits or
toast that looks like the Mother Mary and all that good stuff. Anyway, yeah. So I think she just has after listening to her, a very, very strong pareidolia sense.
Yeah.
Where she sees stuff from everything.
Yeah. And she is completely obsessed. I mean,
she's incredibly obsessed.
Completely. It controls her whole life. She can't even enjoy spending time with her family because, oh my gosh, what if they have Bigfoots in their woods? Or what if other, how are people seriously, what if other people are just not seeing it and how they live in their lives not knowing? Maybe it'd be better if I didn't know. This type of thought process. And she was really, I think they probably experienced something. I have no doubt there, but she took it to a level that not even I would go to.
Yeah, that's
I know. Yeah.
Real paranoid anxiety. That's a lot.
Yeah, no, it can play tricks on you when you start getting that anxious and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The other weird thing is there for a while, 3 or 4 nights in a row, she would look outside with the night vision scope because her husband was in the military, so he had a night vision scope that he could look through, right?
But it wasn't a military grade.
No, it wasn't military grade. It was just effectively a cheapish night vision goggle type thing, but it's only on a scope. So she would look out there, and there was 2 things that struck me as strange about this. A, she said she was seeing Bigfoots every night and could just watch them.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody in her family seemed interested in this, which blew my mind. It blew my... It's she's actually out there claiming she's seeing these Bigfoots every night, and nobody in her family cared. Until one time, the son, it was the youngest son and the middle son.
Yeah, it was the youngest one that went out to the car.
Yeah, the youngest son, he looked through the night vision scope and could not see them. Like, she was trying to direct them where they were, and he couldn't see them at all. And it seems really weird to me that, like, you know, that's what happened every single time, basically.
Yep.
He did have an experience with the Bigfoots, though, according to her and him, where I think the car door light was on.
Yeah, the dome light was on.
Yeah, the dome light was on, and he went outside to go check on it and got close to the woods, and there was a Bigfoot just staring at him. And then another one, a bigger one, came out of the woods beside him. He didn't see that one. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they left, scared the bejesus out of her.
That sounds like young Bigfoot was playing a prank, and older Bigfoot was like, "Get your butt back in these woods."
One of them was one of them was a Bigfoot-looking creature, and the other one was
dog
hyena.
Oh,
yeah.
So
there's two.
He didn't even look at the one. He heard the one that was on all fours, but he just pointed in that direction because he knew she would be watching out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny too that she hid in a dark room and barely peeked out the curtain with this night vision thing because she was afraid they would see her watching them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a horrible fear.
Oh yeah.
That she had.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
what would they do?
I wouldn't want them to know I was watching them.
Yeah, no, I get that. Although I don't know about like the rest of it is kind of a lot because I imagine, I mean, just for me, if they can see at night, like we can just basically assume that they can because they're mostly night creatures. Like, I don't know. I feel like they would be able to see all of that stuff, but I think she just is a little bit extra about it.
She was very extra about it.
She is incredibly extra, yeah.
Yeah, and the Bigfoot investigator was like lacking. They did have they did find some like evidence, physical evidence that something was there, like the bark peeled off the trees and the broken limbs that were way high up, and there were some footprints. But
yeah, they kept claiming they saw footprints. There is one picture of the footprints on their website, and it is a single footprint.
Is it the one in the snow? Yeah, that was a horrible one.
I said she has one in the mud in the book.
Yeah,
yeah. There's only one. Oh, so on the website, there's only one that's in the snow, and the thing about that strikes me as weird also is the fact that there's one footprint.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was some other investigations. There were some similarities between what she was talking about and other investigations people have went on. And having footprints just stop with where you can't see where they went from there is pretty common.
I mean, that would be fair, like on a harder surface, or if there's like dry to wet mud.
Snow would be.
But snow, no, there is no way in jumping like 30 feet. It doesn't make sense.
I know, but that and the fact that she heard some of the sounds she heard, the mumbling and the like whispered voices, like there's almost like a language, but you can't.
Yeah, they have a language, but specifically regarding the snow, they don't move around much in the snow because people will notice their footprints.
But they were
like, that doesn't
with
even
her.
Make
they
sense.
were there all the time, and they were in the trees, and they were, which is, I mean, that could be possible. Maybe they are in the trees. I don't know. And there's some evidence that they live in caves and old mine shafts that have been abandoned, and those were in the area too. And they travel along creeks, according to some people. But some of this stuff did, I guess, mimics or remind you of things that other people have seen. But she was just way out there.
Maybe she's somewhat delusional. And that's why they didn't think a big deal out of her seeing Bigfoot.
It may be.
You know?
You think they were just humoring her the whole time? I mean, it's a good possibility. She does sound a little bit off the
I was going to say,
rocker.
from what you've said, she sounds a little crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe all this is true, and, you know...
I think she did see something.
Well, I'm not saying she didn't see anything.
And I think that they realized that, there probably is something out there, but it didn't worry them, it didn't bother them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And other neighbors did have experiences that she talked about. So there probably was something in the woods. But I can't imagine an entire pod of Bigfoot coming to that same place every single night.
She was saying there was at least 3 or 4 every night for a while.
Yeah. And sometimes they had like whole families. And she was so afraid of making them mad.
Yeah, she was convinced that they were going to, if she made them mad, they were going to come and like destroy her house effectively, is what she was convinced of.
Yeah. And she thought she saw them in other people, neighbors' yards. And the dogs did react to something. Something was out there causing the dogs to.
I mean, sure, but dogs react to all kinds of stuff.
They do.
Yeah, she was claiming that some of the smaller Bigfoots were running along people's roofs.
Yeah.
And looking in their windows.
That other people, like in cabins out in the woods, have mentioned that they would be something would be on their roof. And they would throw rocks and stuff like that. So that wasn't so out there compared to some of the other things. I don't know.
I mean, I could understand that. It does seem a little strange if these Bigfoots are trying to be hidden.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know. It wasn't what I quite expected. I picked it because it was small and I had time to read it. But
So I'm
I
trying to
just
look up.
I expected a better documentation.
Oh god, the lack of documentation in this is absolutely ridiculous because like they
Considering
claim
she's
they've been seeing
supposedly
these things. Well,
recorded
she claims
everything.
she's been seeing them all the time. Yeah, she claims she record the way that they recorded stuff. By the way, oh my god, it was so dumb.
I know. I think I would have done better. But
They had a
and
microphone
I am,
recording a thing on a monitor for like a CCT camera. It was so bad. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And if you actually listen to the recordings, well, none of them are convincing at all. A lot of it sounds like just bugs and frogs.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, here, you can hear this whistling, and then you listen to it, and it's just like, that's a frog, you know?
Yeah.
But there's
See, I haven't heard
the only
any of those.
weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, you guys should listen to them. But the only weird one I would say is like when it sounds like a kid's talking occasionally.
Yeah, that one would freak me out.
I'm pretty sure it's a bird. I don't know what kind of bird, but I'm pretty sure it's a bird. The first one here, I can send you a YouTube video.
I'm looking up pictures of dogmen because I wanted to see what they kind of look like, right? Because I've never...
You never heard of it?
No.
It's a werewolf. Looks like a werewolf.
Yeah, it's essentially kind
Kinda.
of looks like a werewolf. Some of these pictures are really freaking creepy, and some of them not so much. Now, Bigfoot does not scare me. Like, that's just never something I've been scared of. But if I would have seen one of these, I would have been out of there so fast.
She definitely was obsessed.
So the link I sent you guys is book 1. You can listen to the sounds.
Yeah, there is
They're not
actually
very good.
this is the first book in a series. It's like it continues with The True Story Continues, with The Nightmare Continues, The Paranormal Link. So I guess there's 2 more. We don't have those.
So the first one, that first book, I could see her being like serious. She's seeing something. She's scared. She wrote this book to like document everything. Totally fine.
Yeah.
The fact that she's now putting out more and more books is making me think she's starting to just kind of make things up or trick herself into thinking there's more stuff there.
I think she's tricking herself. I don't think she's making it up. I think she's just super delusional. Yeah, I think
No, it's a good
she's
possibility,
seeing things that aren't there, or that she's misinterpreting the things she is seeing.
Yeah.
Which I kind of hate it because I really wanted this to be a really good book.
Yeah, no, I've read and looked at other Bigfoot stuff that's a lot more convincing and interesting than this. She seemed so inept and scared all the time. It was just like, what are you doing? It doesn't make any sense.
It's more of a documentation on her fear than
definitely.
what's really going on around in her. So, I mean, I feel sorry for her for living through this. I would have moved already. I would have. If it bothered me that much, I would have moved.
I'll tell you what I would have had was some like a nice crispy HD pictures of some Bigfoots. Like I would have spent the money for a nice camera.
Yeah.
Like they're right there.
Yeah, and she couldn't even take pictures.
Yeah. Well, she claims she did take a bunch of pictures. The best one is like on her website and it looks like a blob. She's like, oh, because every time I zoomed in with my camera, it was getting all pixelated. It was like, yeah, because you got a crappy camera. Get a better camera, lady. Come on.
Yeah.
They're expensive. They're not that expensive.
Well, I mean, especially if you're going to, like, try to get them, like, why wouldn't you spend that little extra? That way you can be believed. Yeah,
I mean, it's a couple $100 to get a decent, like, a telephoto lens with a DSLR camera, right?
Yeah.
And you put on a little tripod, you put that on a thing, you, like, I don't know. You just take a picture. I mean, if there's lighting issues, just turn on the lights.
Yeah.
And, like, shine it out there to the Bigfoots. Come on.
I mean, they have those spotlights that light up,
will
daytime.
blind you.
Yeah, I mean, you just you see a Bigfoot, you turn one of those on, you take a picture. I mean, it's not hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is something that I think could have been investigated really well, and the guy didn't.
At all.
He was pathetic.
Yeah, the guy didn't do it. He didn't want to do the trail cam because he was convinced it was going to get destroyed. So they only did the trail cam once and found nothing.
And they set it up in the wrong spot.
Yeah, they set it up in the wrong spot.
Instead of setting it up where she was seeing him all the time, he went down to the creek and set it up.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, the cars will set it off and stuff, and you don't want to flash blind in the car. So it's like, well, I mean, it's right there by the entrance. You could have just set it pointing into the forest by the entrance. Like, I mean...
Yeah. That almost sounds deliberate.
She hid cameras and their Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
She hid them in flower pots.
And it didn't work.
She was afraid they'd see them.
Yeah.
And she was afraid they'd see them and get mad.
I've also heard that if you put up cameras, they will avoid that area. If she didn't want them around, I'd have set cameras everywhere where you could see them.
Entire perimeter of my house.
Yeah, I mean, but she was convinced they were going to get angry and come attack their house instead of, like, just
avoiding them.
Yeah,
avoiding it. Yeah,
I don't know. She was really paranoid.
She was very, very paranoid.
Yeah,
I want to know how she thought that many Bigfoots could be in that little chunk of woods, because she said it wasn't that deep. It was like a chunk of woods, but it's like the place out by our house. It's something like that. And there's like 8 or 10 Bigfoots living in there. No way.
I thought there was more than that, the way she described them sometimes. I was thinking up to 20.
I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? So let's go with that. With 20, no way can 20 Bigfoots live. Like, those are big boys, you know? And dogmen, nowhere they live all in that same exact place.
I
don't know what she thought she was seeing.
Dogmen and Bigfoots living together peacefully.
I said, me either. I thought that seemed weird. Unless, the Bigfoots are in charge and the dogmen.
It's their pets.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't work that out either.
Bigfoots.
It didn't make a lot of sense.
Dogmen as pets.
I love it.
I can't remember what the investigator said about the dogmen at the end.
I'll look real quick because it's like I got the book here.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, well, it sounds like what you got are dogmen, and you want to avoid them." But something about the Bigfoots and the dogmen being okay with each other. I can't remember exactly what they said.
I don't know. Personally, that guy sounds like he did all of that on purpose to not catch anything. Like, why would you?
I mean, if you're supposed to be a professional Bigfoot investigator, he was doing a pretty bad job.
Yeah.
And also, like, one of the sons, like the youngest son, he was like documenting it online or something like that, and it's been removed since.
Yeah.
I think. But as soon as the dude found out about that, the investigator, he called off the investigation.
Yeah, because
he was like, I can't investigate anymore.
It was compromised. Yeah. I don't know how that compromised it, but
he was claiming that people could, like, come plant evidence and stuff. I mean,
I'm not seeing where he said anything.
So has anybody seen Bigfoot?
Your dad thought he did one time.
Remember, I thought I did.
Yeah, I know you did.
I have not seen Bigfoot, no.
Okay, so Zach, do you remember our cinder block steps that led from, like, up to the barns? And you know how when you stepped on them, they moved and they kind of clinked together?
Yep.
Clink may not be the right word for a cinder block, but you know what I mean.
I think it's got a bell-like tone sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
So one time late at night, I would hear these cinder blocks move, like somebody was walking on them. All right. Finally worked up the nerve to look out the window, and I saw what looked like how big did I say it was?
It was big.
Like at least 7 feet, I would think. Now, obviously, this was when I was a child, so everything is very big for me, so I could be off on the height. But I remember telling her that it was like this big, hairy man-like thing that kind of walked sort of hunched over, and like, it freaked me out. Like, I shut the curtain, and I told her about it, I think, the next day.
You did, it was the next morning.
And
you can imagine how I felt. But I kept it together.
She did. She showed me this other thing that she's like, maybe it was this, and
they're
like,
guardians. And you'll be safe.
Yeah. And, that I was fine. I was not scared. And I had never once been scared in our yard. Our yard has never freaked me out. Which is crazy because literally right up on the hill at Papa's house.
Terrifies me sometimes.
Oh, I hate going up there. Especially at night. You can't see anything. It's like the darkness is thicker there.
What do you think of when do you ever have visual?
I feel like something's watching me.
What is it?
I don't know.
I always think wolf.
I've thought cat, like big cat. And I've thought like just some monster that I can't even begin to fathom.
Yeah, wolf-like is what I think.
Yeah, but I always feel like something is watching me, and I always have to talk to myself. Do not run. Yes. Prey runs. And you should not have to say that to yourself walking to your car.
I have.
It's the worst.
I hate going to myself.
It's so bad. And in like our woods does not scare me, but to go up there near Pawpaw in the woods, no way. No way.
I think that, so that did freak me out too, just like being outside at night, especially around Pawpaw's place.
What is with his house?
I don't know. It's very creepy though, but I don't actually get a nice visual of something in my brain. It feels like it's going to be something I do not see will get me. Like, it's not going to look like anything. It's just going to be like, it's just going to grab me and I'm done so.
Yeah. And there's that horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Where do you normally think of it being? Is there like an area? Because I have an area where I always think.
Over behind his house. Like behind it where the building, the silver building. That
towards
area.
Like the Hutton side?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach?
Oh, yeah, no, it's the same general area. I think it's just because the woods are over that direction, though.
Maybe.
It's weird, though, that all three of us think that, though.
Especially in the front yard when, you go right to the left of his house. There's it goes into the woods right there. That's ominous.
Yes, it is.
Especially since the
Worst.
shadows are darker there because he's got the light on the front, or at least he used to, so it would cast a dark shadow on that side. And I'm just like, it's coming out of there.
But it used to be like that even when I was a kid when his trailer wasn't there. It was that same general area.
Maybe
Maybe
Bigfoot and Dogman are hanging out over there.
but
Maybe.
it doesn't not in the yard so much. I mean, the
No.
yard is fine.
No.
Hmm.
It's like because I saw
It's
that
fence
thing.
line. It's
Yeah.
that fence line.
Oh my gosh,
It's
I
like
hate
that's
it.
the boundary. It's like it's safe when you get on the other side.
Yeah. Like we're out of
Yeah,
its
it is
territory.
freaky.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
It's so
No,
bad.
I never
Oh.
saw a Bigfoot, but I was convinced I saw those aliens once when I was a kid. I know it wasn't, but I was convinced. But it's the same sort of thing. It's like that pareidolia effect. I don't actually know what I saw. I think it was either people or I'm betting it was deer
When?
walking
Where?
around out there in the field. The one that you claim I said they gave me something. I
No,
never said that.
You were at 4-H camp when that happened.
That was.
I was at 4-H camp. That's what I'm saying.
He told me that. And y'all
I did not
made
tell her
fun
that.
of me for years, telling me
Let the record show. I
made
never told her
up
that she.
memories.
No, I said that I thought I saw aliens, which I did think I did at
but
the
you
time.
know, and he for years told me I never said that. I never said it. Not until we were adults did he come out. And he was
He
like,
did say
"Yeah,
that.
I did say that."
But
Yeah.
I never said the thing about them giving me
No,
stuff.
he
I don't
did.
remember saying
He
that.
did.
I don't remember saying that.
Committed to my memory.
Because the way I remember it, like, I don't have a good memory of this, but they were like pretty far off, like 100, 200 yards away,
You
something
were
like
probably
that.
abducted. You don't have memories.
This is probably
Yeah, that's
why
what it is. Maybe
I'm
this was
terrified of
abducted.
aliens because I saw him get abducted or something. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't remember. I need to get one of those past life regression things, figure out when I was
Oh my gosh.
abducted.
It's like the noise that I heard. You remember I was talking about that just a couple podcasts ago, the noise that I heard for 2 hours that one night. And you were all like, oh yeah, I heard that
Yeah.
as a child too.
Yeah, that's
And,
what
like,
that was. Yeah.
Why you wouldn't tell me
No, I
this?
mean, it didn't really click with me.
It's the worst.
And we heard it again too, and there was no aliens or no UFOs or nothing like this.
That's because they have camouflage.
Oh well, it's probably cloaking devices. They
Yeah.
have moved up in the world.
Logan, exactly. Okay, so I just wanted to briefly state this for the record before I forget. Back on Bigfoot, there is a woman who claims, this is from 2015, this article I'm reading, claims that she was in a relationship with a Bigfoot and that they are trying for a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god! Why?
So I knew that there
Why
was
do
something
people-
like this.
Why?
Apparently, she calls him John.
Yeah. Oh,
Now there was
okay.
there was
Big
there
John.
was a woman in Tennessee who supposedly had developed not a relationship like that, but to where she would leave out food and stuff like garden food, and he would come to her door and have other family members occasionally, like younger ones,
I think I've heard
and
this.
trade for like salt.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted. Because one time to get evidence, when she handed him the salt, she grabbed a hold of some of the hairs on his arm and pulled them out. And he was like not happy with that. But it's like,
Oh.
but she had. I have no idea. I don't know why. This was before maybe
Nobody,
phone
see,
cameras. I
nobody
don't know.
who like
This was,
meets Bigfoot has a camera ever on them. They don't have a hidden camera. They don't have their phone.
and that defense, like when you guys were little and you were doing stuff at the fair, I would get so excited watching you do stuff that I never took a picture because I was too much in that moment to think, oh, take a picture.
But was this like a repeated thing though?
Yeah, that's I don't know if there was cameras like it was before like phone cameras and stuff where you
Oh,
had
sure,
them around
sure.
you all the time. But she had also watched them like run down and kill deer. I mean, she'd seen a lot of stuff because they had lived basically in the same area with them her entire life. But I don't think there was any relationships. But it was an interesting to hear her talk about it. So I believe there are Bigfoot out there, and I believe there are things people see. I'm not sure this was the best book to start somebody on that quest.
No, I would not. I would
No.
not use this one as your intro to Bigfoot because she doesn't know anything and she just comes off as cuckoo bananas most of the time. It's
does.
pretty unfortunate.
I
There
know.
are other really good Bigfoot books that exist, so try to find another one because this one's not good.
Yeah, it was.
It is entertaining though. I would read it just for fun.
Well, and to listen to her evolve into this like horror she's living. I mean, it gets worse
Yeah.
and worse and worse to the point she's not sleeping and she doesn't really want to eat. She doesn't do anything she used to like to do. It just controls her life.
And it goes for months. This happens for
Yeah.
months.
That's crazy.
And with the other two books, I'm guessing it's probably went on for years.
Yeah, the one is like The Nightmare Continues is what it says in the description. I don't know if the third book's actually out yet, is it?
I don't know. It just says The Paranormal Link, Volume 3. I don't know if it's out yet or not.
See, the fact that she's starting to get into the paranormal link means that she's going to, like, talk about those specters in her woods.
Well, maybe. Or a lot of people that I guess, investigate Bigfoot, there is something odd about some of the behavior and some of the things that happen. So maybe that could be where she's going. I don't know. Maybe, but I kind of think
This
you're
is a
right.
good
It's probably the
possibility.
specters.
Like, I mean, so there is definitely in a lot of Bigfoot lore nowadays something that they are not entirely here, or they have some other abilities or something like that. But,
And there's
I mean,
UFOs
that's-
involved with some of them too.
and
which
there's
is
UFOs involved with a lot of them. Yeah. So, I mean, to be fair though, if they were just like normal flesh and blood creatures, I'm 100% convinced we would have found one and have good evidence for them by now. So, if they exist, and again, I don't think they do, but if they exist, they've got to have some other thing going on, you know?
It's Chewbacca. There's a whole
Oh my God.
bunch of Chewbaccas
I think
out
that's why I'm not scared of Bigfoot, because I have this undying love for Chewbacca. I think he's the greatest character in Star Wars, and I just want to give him the biggest hug. Knowing that he could, like, rip my head off if he was mad at me.
But he
I
wouldn't. Yeah.
I know. He's such a sweet
Yeah.
baby. And then when in that movie, I can't remember which movie it is, where they have all the different Wookiees there. Oh my God. I would be in heaven. I'd be like, look at all these giant teddy bears everywhere. I love you all.
Just start like frolicking, like in the
Yes,
sound of
I
music.
would. I mean, like, this is my
Me
happy
too.
place. I love them. Like, I don't care about Han Solo. I don't care about Luke. I don't care about any of them. But
We
you
can't
give
relate,
me
but yeah.
you give me Chewbacca or R2-D2, I'm set.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, Mrs. Kylo Ren.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Oh my God.
But I think that's why I'm not scared of Bigfoot, because I'm like, I think of him
Chewbacca.
as a Wookiee.
You know that makes sense.
I mean, that's what is in him. And yeah, which is crazy considering I'm petrified of aliens. Wookiees are aliens.
Yeah, but if you think about it, that whole universe, is everyone is an alien. So it's not like
Yeah, so it's like different.
it's the norm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's different.
Sure.
Do we want to talk about Bigfoot sightings near us? Like, Zach, I'm sure you probably have some because you live in Washington. But
I mean, I live in Bigfoot Central.
Yeah. I do want to mention that if you want to look at more serious investigations, David Pilates from Missing 411, he has a whole series on Bigfoot, and he has a definite theory that maybe they're more human and less animal than we think.
also, if you've had a Bigfoot experience or seen one,
That reminds me.
definitely send us a message or email or call even the library.
One of our podcast listeners went camping at Cranberry Glades this past week. And when she got up one morning, she went out and sat down in their camp chair, and there was hair that she had no idea where it came from. It was like long and kind of reddish brown, just laying on the ground. She's like, I should have bagged that up for you. I'm like, yes, you should have. But she didn't. So, Judy, next time, bag up the hair.
Come on, Judy.
Letting us down over here.
Okay, so I actually have a Bigfoot sighting story pulled up on my phone that I've read a few months ago, and I've sent it to my mom. I've sent it to Zach. I'm pretty sure I've read it to Mallory. So I'm just going to share it also on here because it's creepy and it's really close to us. All right, so this happened in Spencer, West Virginia. So if you don't know where that's at in relation to us, it's about maybe 30 minutes down the road, right?
Yeah.
So fairly close, unfortunately for Carla.
Yeah.
So
Everywhere.
somebody posted this story on Facebook. I have no way to prove any of it's real, but it is interesting to hear. So this man lives, in Spencer, West Virginia. And before his main encounter happened, he had found rocks stacked along the creek on his property. And no one other than him and his elderly mom lived there. And then a couple of days later, he found another rock stack on the opposite side of the creek. He didn't think anything of it other than it was weird, which I get that. 2 weeks later, he has a friend sleeping over. And he gets up in the middle of the night about 3 a.m., as he sometimes does, looked out onto his porch and saw his garage light was on. Then he grabbed his pistol, his flashlight, and shone the light out the screen door, and he saw deer moving across his property, grazing and heading up a small hill. He gently opened the screen door so not to spook the deer, and just as his foot hit the front porch deck, something let out an incredible scream. It started like a high, like a siren, so similar, I guess, to what you heard for that YouTube video. And then a low moan, and then finished like a guttural ape sound. He shone the flashlight around, picked up the deer again, now on the hill, frozen. He then heard the scream again, same as the first, long, high, low, followed by guttural ape sounds. And then a third. Both were so loud he could feel the vibration in his chest. He then picked up red eye shine from the flashlight, 3 feet off the ground, moving from behind one tree then to another. Then he saw a second pair of red eyes, and a third. He said he could hear things moving from behind the trees, getting closer to the porch, which he has a full walk-around porch. He's still picking up the frozen deer, too, still in the same place. He found it odd that he could not pick up the outline of these animals, just the red eye shine, 3 feet off the ground, moving closer to his position. He then remembered his buddy was spending the night on the couch and ran in to get him, made him get up and come outside, and these things were still there. As they watched the red eyes moving around, the men were talking loud to one another. They noted the deer had still not moved. He said, as a hunter, when deer hear voices, they will bolt. Then the closest thing did something that made both of them retreat into the house. It apparently stood up. It went from 3 feet tall to 9 feet tall in a blink of an eye. He measured it the next morning. These things were seemingly crawling around, getting closer to the porch. He said a couple times how weird it was he could not pick up an outline. He said that they were close enough that he should have been able to see them with the light. After it stood up, they went inside, but he came back out about 15 minutes later. The red eyes were all gone, but the frozen deer was still there. The next night, he cautiously shone his flashlight around, but all he saw was more deer. But he made a strange observation. He said the deer were all about the same location as the creatures were, and he could plainly see them with the flashlight. He noted that he found it very odd that he could see the deer, but not even the outline of the strange creatures. Apparently, his daughter had saw something very weird at his grandmother's home about 15 miles away as a young child. He had dismissed it until the night of his own encounter.
Something about that 3 feet thing I have found out recently, which is makes Bigfoot even more horrifying to me, is they have what's called a spider crawl.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, they'll splay their arms and legs out and kind of do, like Bugs Bunny to come.
Why would they be doing that? That's just terrifying.
I think it's like sneaky, and they will go along the ground like that to be stealthy.
That's terrifying.
And they can move incredibly fast like that.
I would rather have one running full tilt towards me on 2 legs
than that spider.
No, that's horror movie.
That's awful.
Stuff.
It is.
No.
Yeah, now I got this image of a Bigfoot just scuttling around.
Yeah. Which is beyond.
Not what I want to know.
Yeah. People. There was one guy I listened to. I think it was on a podcast. He had saw something off the side of the road, like kind of down a little bit in a gully, and he was like, "I think it's a bear," and he pulled off to see it. Well, it stood up, and it wasn't a bear, and he's like waving his arms, and somebody else had pulled off to him, was looking at it, and they were both fixated and didn't think to get their phone until after a few minutes, but it was too late by that time. But he said at one point it dropped down on all fours when it realized it had been seen, and did that kind of spider crawl thing. He's horrified. That's when they were like, oh no, no,
they don't like that.
Yeah.
No
and
way.
It was a way of them being stealthy and getting out of the.
I hate that.
Oh, it's terrifying.
I hate that.
Welcome to my world.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. So that's been described by people from different areas.
Yeah,
describing the same basic thing. So
that's creepy.
It is creepy,
and also think of the muscle strength you have to have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different set of muscles you're using there. So I have an interesting factoid.
Okay.
About Bigfoots. So in the U.S., can you guess what the 2 highest reported sightings for Bigfoots are?
Where
West
they're at?
Virginia,
Ohio, and Washington.
It's Washington and West Virginia by a decent
I was
chunk.
hoping it would be Ohio.
No, it's so Washington's the highest at 9.12 per 100,000 people sightings per 100,000 people.
Appalachian Mountain
It
area.
is.
And
That
then,
is-
okay, the weird thing is,
And the mines.
West Virginia, it's 5.97, right? So pretty
And the
close to the
mines.
same. The closest one next to us is Ohio at 2.72.
That's a significant
It's
jump.
double, more than double
It's lovely.
the amount of sightings.
It's our minds.
It's all those hill folk just staying up there.
Well,
I
growing
mean-
hair and
The hill folk.
Yep.
going wild.
Yep.
They're not seeing Bigfoots. It's just
Did
other
you know?
people.
Okay, this is completely random, but that the Appalachian way of speaking is the closest to Old English?
Yes.
Because we were so stuck up in our hills that we were like never changed.
Yeah, you're too isolated.
Yeah, we love that about West Virginia.
Yes. I have a funny Bigfoot one to tell. I was listening to a guy speak one time, and we talked about, he was in Ohio, which is right across the river in Ohio somewhere, and he was going fishing, and he had to go across this bridge to get to where he could get down to the creek to fish, and he happened to glance over, and he saw something on the bank that looked like it was bathing, okay? Yeah. And he stopped to look, and then it saw him and stood up and walked away very angrily, and he's like, it was female? And he's like, I did not fish because I know what it's like if you disturb a woman who's trying to take a bath.
Oh my God!
He's like, I was not going to approach that area with a mad female Bigfoot because he had messed up her bath.
Yeah. You know, there's a cryptid in Missouri. Like, I read about this because that's a long drive to Missouri, and I was just looking up random cryptids. But there's one called Momo,
which is mean.
That sounds like a Bigfoot, but it hangs out around the Mississippi River, but it is aggressive, like super aggressive.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
So I wonder if it's just like a Bigfoot that's like,
I've had enough.
Yeah, which, I mean, no offense, Missouri, but also there's a reason I don't live there anymore. And right next to Arkansas, which I call you all Arkansasians. So
Arkansasians.
That's what I call them. Yeah, they don't like
Amazing. Amazing.
But I mean, I did live right on the border, so I experienced a lot of, and it was completely different world coming from West Virginia, where we're so like, oh yeah, we'll help you out. These people are like, don't talk to me. Don't even look in my general direction. So Momo, I think, is definitely vibing with them.
I think it's interesting, too, that all over the world, you have descriptions of the same type.
Of Bigfoot-like thing, yeah.
Of creature, or hominid, or whatever it is. Yeah. In the forest.
Yeah, see, that's why I think that they are real.
Yeah.
I don't believe a lot of the stuff that people show is real, but I do think they are real. And I choose to believe they're Wookiees.
I'll be okay with that.
So maybe he actually based the Wookiees on?
Maybe, I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking up some Sasquatch sightings in Washington State, and there are quite a few. And apparently, if you want to go, Mama, we can go to the Olympic Peninsula.
I'm going to go to the Olympic Peninsula.
Be.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Yeah, we're going to go look for some Bigfoots.
She's like, this is not the plan.
During the daytime, not at night.
Oh, no, at night, definitely. We're setting up the trail cams. We're going to sit out there in the dark. It's going to be great.
It can not happen.
Everybody sits back to back, so we
I'll
get
make
like
sure
the
I have
full.
my will updated. And
Zach gets nothing if I die out here.
Anyway, though, the Washington State Department of Transportation tweeted out a picture and a video of a Bigfoot.
What?
In 2020. I'm going to see if I can.
I was going to say, find that and send it.
I'm trying to find the actual picture. So there's a video, but I don't think the video is of the same thing. It's in the same place, though. Yep. Here we go. Here's your Bigfoot. And just if anybody wants to look this up, it's WSDOT Bigfoot sighting 2020. I'm sending it in the chat. There's a couple pictures.
Oh, there he is, right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you click on the picture left and right, you can see there's a different picture of him.
Okay, I see it better on the fresher one, but well, I guess the second one.
We will put these on
here it is too.
Ruffian page also. So if you want to see, we will definitely share them there. Anyways,
here's another one. This is a video of a Bigfoot.
See?
Yeah, I saw it.
Now take a look at that. That's going to be way better.
That's the video.
There's a video. Yeah, the second one.
We will share this also.
I'm just gonna put all the Bigfoot stuff up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll just make one big post with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please hold. There is an ad.
I'm pretty sure that one's just a guy, though.
Yeah, that one doesn't look super convincing from here.
No.
That's the wrong kind of.
Well, I mean, if we assume that it's like that one video, like the OG video, but I thought that one was like confirmed to be a hoax by the people who hoaxed it.
Who's that? Which one? The Patterson Gimli?
No,
Yeah,
I heard
that
it was
that
was legit.
They have not been able to disprove it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I thought that the people who made it said that they
No.
just made it up.
No. I mean, the one guy's still alive, and he still goes...
Yeah, he still says it is.
Yeah.
Because I watched a video on it.
Have you seen the stabilized version of that?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And who's going to... Okay, let's pretend for a minute they are going to dress up and be a Bigfoot in the woods. Why would you dress up as a female Bigfoot?
I've never
Also,
heard that it was a
why would
female
you
Bigfoot.
dress
Have
up?
you not... That's why they call it Patty. She has breasts.
I mean, I've seen the video. I don't know that that's like... Are we talking about the same video?
The Patterson-Gimli film?
The famous one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the big one.
Yeah. It's a female.
He doesn't believe you.
Well, look it up.
I don't know.
I'm
I'm looking at it now. I
I
don't
could tell
see
by
any...
the silence there. I was like, this is a silence that says, Mama, you're wrong.
Okay, look at that. You tell me that that's a Bigfoot chick.
It is a Bigfoot chick.
A lady.
I mean, I'm not even actually watching the video, and I can definitely see some boobage.
Yeah, you
I
can
see
see
no-
them.
You can see it.
I am looking at this. Okay, I think that
I think you're blind.
that's just fur. Just
No,
more
it's
fur.
No,
on the
it's
chest.
not.
I mean,
I
they're
see
even
what
in
you're talking
they're
about.
even in the right place where they would be on a female. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not right.
It's not-
down a little bit.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
It's a girl.
I feel like we need to have an actual Bigfoot so we can get better Bigfoot anatomy lessons.
I'll work on
Just-
that. Okay.
Go catch you
Yeah.
one. Go catch you one. You're in Bigfoot Central.
I'm in Bigfoot Central. I'll go try to get one. I'll report back next week on the podcast
Okay.
what they look like up close.
Well, I mean, you said it was a bear in your trash, but I really think it was Bigfoot.
I didn't actually see it, so
It
could
could
have
have
been a
been
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
It was very rude Bigfoot. Just strew that trash everywhere.
It
I was
said
very
you
upset.
need to learn to recycle more.
Yep.
That's what it was. Bigfoot's very, very nature conscious
Well, yeah,
and
nature
preservation
is their
conscious. It makes
home.
sense.
So yeah, this book.
I mean, it's worth a read. It doesn't take very long to read, but I don't think it's the best book to start a Bigfoot investigation with because of her reactions
It
and
makes it
her
sound
obsession.
crazy.
It does, and I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think she was way too obsessed
Yeah.
to even think straight sometimes.
That, and I feel
Yep.
like everybody she interacted with just like didn't.
I think
don't
it was
know.
like
That's
blasé.
super
Yeah,
underwhelming.
the whole time. It's very strange.
All right. So on our next episode, we will be doing segment 2 of Conspiracies and Curiosities. Zach, did you have a specific one in mind or no?
No, I don't have a specific one in mind yet. It's going to be a surprise. To me, even, probably.
After that, we will then be doing Zach's deep dive book, which is also to be determined. So you guys are getting a double surprise.
Another surprise.
We are rescheduling author Chase Robertson as soon as we can. So in the meantime, check out his poetry, The Positive Side of Negative Thoughts, and Casualties of Life and Love, before we have him on to discuss the fantasy fiction book he's writing that we got first dibs on. We really
Excellent.
are that special.
Oh man, it's so good too.
Yeah, it's really good so far. Thank you for listening to another episode of Reading Room Ruffians. You can find our Facebook group by searching Reading Room Ruffians Podcast, which is linked to our library's Facebook page at facebook.com/Jackson County Library WV. You should also definitely follow us on TikTok and Instagram at WVJCO Library and give our podcast Goodreads page a gander, which we'll have linked in our episode description along with our personal Goodreads pages. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know the drill. Only the best libraries have librarians who won't shush you or tell you to go camp in Bigfoot-infested forests for any length of time.
Good thing I'm not a librarian. I'll tell you to do that.